Hello friends, let's start with the chapter number 4. Our Earth is surrounded by a huge blanket of air called atmosphere. All living beings on this earth depend on the atmosphere for their survival. It provides us the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effect of sun rays. Without this blanket protection, we would be baked alive by the sun, by the heat of the sun during the day and get frozen during the night. So it is this mass of air that has made of temperature on the earth livable. Composition of atmosphere. Do you think that the air we take while breathing is actually a mixture of many gases? Nitrogen and oxygen are the two gases which make up the bulk of atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon, and hydrogen are found in lesser quantity. Apart from these gases, teeny dust particles are also present in the air. The pie chart gives you the percentage of the different constituents of air. Nitrogen is most plentiful gas in the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. They cannot take nitrogen directly from air. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of some plants take nitrogen from the air and oxygen it forms so that plant can use it. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Humans and animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. In this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant. If we cut trees, then this balance gets disturbed. Do you know? Carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere creates a greenhouse effect by trapping the heat radiated from the earth. It is therefore called greenhouse gas. Without it, the earth would have been too cold to live in. However, when its level in the atmosphere increases due to factory smoke and car fumes, the heat retained increases the temperature of earth. This is called global warming. This rise in temperature causes the snow in coldest part of the world to melt. As a result, the sea level of rises and causing floods in the coastal area. There may be a drastic changes in the climate of place, leading to extinction of some of the plants and animals in the long run. Do you know when air is heated, it expands and becomes lighter and goes up? Cold air is denser and heavy. That is why it tends to sink down when hot air rises and cold air from surrounding area rushes. There is a fill in the gap. That is how air circulation takes place. Carbon dioxide is another important gas. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food and release oxygen. Humans or animals release carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by human or animals seems to be equal to the amount used by the plants, which make perfect balance. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. They add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. As a result, the increased volume of carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate. Structure of atmosphere. Our atmosphere is divided into 5 layers of starting from the Earth's surface. These are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Troposphere. This layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 km. The air we breathe exists here. Almost all the weather phenomena like rainfall, fog, and hailstorm occur in this layer, stratosphere. Above the troposphere lies the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 50 km. This layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomenon, making condition most ideal for flying aeroplanes. One important features of the stratosphere is that it contains a layer of ozone gas. We have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. Mesosphere. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies above the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 80 km. Meteorites burn up in this layer on entering from this space. Thermosphere. In the thermosphere, temperature rises very rapidly with increasing height. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It extends between 80 to 400 km. This layer helps in radio transmission. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the Earth are reflected back to the Earth by this layer. Exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is known as exosphere. This layer has very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen floats into the space from here. Weather and climate. Is it going to rain today? Will it be bright or sunny today? How many times have you heard from this from the NCERT cricket teams speculating the fact of one day match? If you imagine our body to be a radio and the mind its speaker, whether is something that fiddles with its control knobs, whether is this hour to hour, day to day condition of atmosphere. A hot or humid weather may make one irritable. A pleasant breezy weather may make one cheerful, even plan for an outing. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather condition of a place for a long period of time represents the climate of a place. Now, do you understand why we have a daily weather forecast? Do you know, you will be surprised to know that the Earth receives only 1 in parts of sun energy. Temperature. The temperature you feel every day is the temperature of the atmosphere. The degree of hotness and coldness of air is known as temperature. The temperature of atmosphere changes in not only between day and night but also from season to season. Summers are hotter than winters. An important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is insolation. Insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the pole. Therefore, the temperature decreases in the same manner. Now, do you understand why poles are covered with snow? If the earth temperature rises too high to become too warm for some crops to grow, temperature in the cities is much higher than that of village. The concrete and metal in buildings and the asphalt of road gets heated up during the day. This heat is released during the night. Also, the crowded high-rise buildings of cities trap warm air and thus raise the temperature of the city. Do you know the standard unit of measuring temperature is degree Celsius? It was invented by Andreas Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Air pressure. You will be surprised to know that the air above us presses us with a great force on our body. However, we don't even feel this because the air presses us from all directions and our body exerts a counter pressure. Air pressure is defined as a part exerted by the weight of air. Air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of air on the Earth's surface. As we go up the layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. The air pressure is highest at sea level, decreases with the height horizontally. The distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. This creates a low pressure area. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weathers. In areas having low temperature, the air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with clear and sunny sky. The air always moves from high pressure to low pressure. Do you know on the moon there is no air and hence no air pressure? Astronauts have to wear a special protective spacesuit filled with air when they go to the moon. If they did not wear this spacesuits, the counter pressure exerted by the body of the astronaut would make the blood vessel burst and astronaut would bleed. Wind. Movement of air from a high pressure area to low pressure area is called wind. You can see the wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during the storm. Sometimes when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. At times, wind can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. You must have experienced it. Is not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. Think of some other examples when strong winds have created. A wind is named after the direction from which it blows. Example, a wind blowing from the west is called westerlies. Problems for you. Winds can be broadly divided into three types. Permanent winds, the trade winds, westerlies and easterlies are the permanent winds. These blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. Seasonal winds. These winds change their direction in different seasons. For example, monsoon in India. Local wind. These blow during the particular period of the day or year in a small area. For example, land or sea breeze. Do you recall the hot and dry local winds of northern plains of India? It is called Loo. Cyclone in nature's fury. Odisha, located on the eastern seacoast of India, is prone to cyclones that originate in the Bay of Bengal on 17-18 October 1999. Cyclone hit 5 districts of the state. Another super cyclone occurred on the 29 October 1999 that devastated large portion of the state. The damaged cows were mainly due to the three factors: wind velocity, rain, and tidal surge. The wind of up to 260 km per hour lasted for over 36 hours. This high velocity wind uprooted trees and damaged the Kacha houses. Rooftops of several industrial sets and other houses were also blown away. Power supply and telecom lines snapped completely. Heavy rains occurred under the influence of cyclone for 3 days continuously. This rain led to flooding in major rivers of Odisha. The cyclonic wind causes tidal waves that swept 20 km inland and brought massive destruction to coastal area. The 7 to 10 km high tidal have intruded suddenly and caused massive damage to standing paddy crops. The cyclone originated as the depression in Gulf of Thailand near the east of Port Blair on 25 October 1999. Gradually moves in the northwest direction. It intensified into super cyclone and hit the area between Irasma and Balikuda in Odisha 29 October at 10:30 am. The super cyclone swept the entire coast of Odisha, including the city of Bhubaneswar and Cuttack and 28 coastal towns. About 13 million people were affected. A large number of livestock were killed. Standing crops of paddy, vegetable, and fruits were heavily damaged due to salination caused by tidal surge. Large tracts of agricultural land have turned infertile. Large tracts of salt, teak, and bamboo plantation have disappeared. Mangrove forest between Pradeep and Konark vanished. Moisture. When water evaporates from land and different water bodies, it becomes water vapor. The moisture is Moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. When the air is full of water vapor, we call it as humid day. As the air gets warmer, its capacity to hold the water vapor increases, so it becomes more and more humid. On a humid day, clothes takes longer to dry. Sweat from our body does not evaporate easily, making us feel very uncomfortable. When the water vapor rises, it starts cooling. The water vapor condenses, causing formation of droplets of water. Clouds are just masses of such water droplets. When these water droplets of water becomes too heavy to float in the air, then they come down as a precipitation. Jet planes flying in the sky leave a white trail behind them. The moisture from the engine condenses. We see trails of this condensed moisture for some time. When there is no air movement to disturb it, precipitation comes down the earth in a liquid form is called rain. Most of the groundwater comes from rainwater. Plant helps preserve water. When trees on hillsides are cut, rainwater flows down in the bare mountains and can cause flooding of low-lying area. On the basis of mechanism, there are three types of rainfall: the convectional rainfall, the orographic rainfall, and the cyclonic rainfall. Rainfall is very important for the survival of plants and animals. It brings fresh water to the earth's surface. If rainfall is less, water scarcity and drought occur. On the other hand, if it is more, flood takes place. Other forms of precipitation are snow, sleet, and hail.